Shalom, Eliyokim Cohen, Jews News Briefs, on the Jews News page of Facebook.com. It's facebook.com/Jews News. And I'm coming to you from our Jews News World Headquarters, which you might be thinking is just my living room, but it's actually the penthouse of a very prestigious building. I'm not going to tell you which one, because I don't want too many fans outside, autographs and hassling, and then you have to get security, all these things. We also have today's sponsor, which is Snickers. You might have heard of it. Not only is it kosher, but it's also a very elite candy bar, so you know that our show has some credibility. And I'm coming to you today with my puke bag, in case anything gets really ridiculous on the news, which it tends to do. So let's start off with today in Jewish history. I post this every day on our fan page, which again is Jews News on Facebook. Join it. Unfortunately today, the first of more than 180,000 Hungarian Jews reach Auschwitz. And this was in 1944. We all know how that ended. We always declare, never again, never again. But it's happening again for those people that actually sort of have their eyes open. On college campuses, at the UN, trying to ban circumcision in San Francisco, trying to ban, Jewish kosher slaughter in countries in Europe, New Zealand. These things are happening again, and there's a reason why Holocaust survivors say they have the same feeling now as they did back in the 1930s in Germany, because things are slowly but surely getting out of control, like they've done for our entire history. Let's move on to some news. Hope everyone has their barf bag near them, like I do. Israel today actually released tax funds that we were holding for the quote-unquote Palestinian Authority. We collect their taxes for them, then we give them money. So in essence, we fund our own terrorism and demise. So 2 weeks ago, we made a brilliant decision. We actually just said, we're not giving you this money. And the world was coming down on us, and the Muslims complained, and everyone was whining, and it was just a matter of time. I thought it would be the next day, and it was actually 2 weeks later. So here's the absolutely insane comment from the finance ministry, which should definitely be put in timeout right now. The ministry noted that the decision to renew the tax transfer was reached after it was clarified by the PA that the money would not be transferred to Hamas, and it will not go towards funding terror activities. Oh, hooray! We have a promise from the PA that they're not going to transfer the money to Hamas. When was the last time that a terror group had any credibility? Anyone out there want to answer that one? This is just stupid. This is dumb and idiotic and stupid. We're giving money to our enemies to use against us. They claim that they're, we're just paying the salaries of our workers, which are also terrorists. Moving right along. Oh, slicha. Hi, Ima. No, I'm not sick. No, it's a tummy ache. No, it's a tummy ache. It's different. Okay. I'm doing my show. I like bringing up this article because it gives me a chance to do my fake Chinese impression, which isn't really good, but it's fun nonetheless. Ban Ki-moon, the head of the UN, calls for restraint after Nakba Day deaths. His exact quote was that Israel needs to restrain itself and refrain from provocations and prevent escalation. I don't really recall him saying that we need to prevent escalation in Syria, because Syria is just taking their tanks, lining them up, like a monopoly board, and shooting them. They're shooting their own people. I mean, Muslim, women and kids are going out there and protesting. And Syrian tanks are just shooting them. Just out of the blue. You shoot baskets on a basketball court. They're just shooting their own people. Yet, Syrians jump over our border fence, which for some reason was not manned at all yesterday. And Ehud Barak said, oh, there was no way to know. Well, I'll tell you how I knew, because on my Jews News fan page on Facebook.com, for the last 7 weeks, I've been erasing Muslim quotes. Muslims keep joining my page, and they keep telling me, on May 15th, which was actually my birthday, we're going to be invading Israel. They said we're going to mount on the border, and just by sheer numbers, we're just going to come into Israel. So Eliyokim Cohen knew that this was going to happen, but Ehud Barak, who's in charge of, the security of the Jewish people in Israel, said that there's no way we could have figured that out. Get a Facebook page, idiot! Anyway, so he's calling for restraint. You don't hear the world calling for restraint in Syria as they're just mowing down their own people. So instead of us actually getting on national TV and saying, sorry, the next Muslim that comes into this country, we're shooting in the head. And the one next to him, we're also shooting in the head. And any other person that tries to jump our border, we're shooting. Instead, we did this. We filed a complaint with the UN, who hates us, against Syria and Lebanon. Dear diary, yesterday was such a tough day. I thought about drinking again, but Syria is being such a meanie, and Lebanon went back on their word. Is there anything you can do? Why are we so weak and pathetic? Does anyone see this? Filing complaints with an organization that thoroughly detests us? Israel's filed a complaint with the UN against Syria and Lebanon in the wake of bloody incidents Sunday on its northern borders. Hey, here's a tip for you guys out there. If you don't come to our borders, we won't shoot you. And we shot like 10 people. There were thousands of them. You know, if you see the videos on YouTube, you'll see Israeli soldiers. Remember that old Duck Honey game on Nintendo? You'll see these soldiers going like this. I mean, it was the most shameful... Not yet. I'm sure there'll be something in a few minutes that'll get me. Here's a good one. Another flotilla came today. You might remember last year we sent our soldiers onto the ship with paintball guns. Paintball guns onto ships with people that were literally beating them to death. Another one came today from Malaysia, a country I didn't even know existed until this article. We again fired warning shots because we're the world's experts in warning shots. And instead of saying, the next boat that comes, we are sinking the boat, and any passengers that we find swimming, we're killing you. We just fired warning shots. And that was it. Is there a reason why we keep doing this? Does anyone think that maybe if we were a little bit tougher, that things like this won't happen? Do you see these things happening in Russia? Do you ever see like a foreign, country just running into Russia or sending a flotilla to Russia? No, because Russia would just kill every single one of them. And you know what else Russia does that I absolutely love and I give them a high five for? They bury terrorists in pigskins. Muslims are terrified of pigs. They think that if they're wrapped in pigskins, they're not going to get to go to the 72 Virginians in heaven. And there's actually a rabbi in Israel that says, bury them in pigskins and you'll stop this nonsense. It's a very simple formula. But we choose not to do this. So my golf clap of the day goes to a police commander yesterday who slapped an Arab female protester because apparently she was being obnoxious. And I thoroughly concur with that line of action. Getting back to more vomitous news, Abbas, the leader of our enemy, says that an opportunity for an historic peace deal still exists. If you're out there and you just heard what I said and you got excited because you think that there is an opportunity, raise your hand right now and kindly punch yourself in the face 3 times because you're a complete moron. And lastly, on a brighter note, Danny Danon of Likud is mounting a campaign to annex Judea and Samaria, or as Jew haters out there like to call the West Bank, because the quote-unquote Palestinians, a country that has never existed, doesn't exist now, and never will exist, is actually just planning on declaring a state. They're just planning on declaring a state. It'd be like me walking into, Coke, sitting down at the CEO's desk and saying, alright, I'm the CEO now. They have nothing, no control over anything in this country. They're just going to declare a state where I happen to live. So he's trying to get Netanyahu to not go to America, Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister, and do what he usually does, which is just bend down and pretty much do whatever the Americans want to say. There's actually a kid in my 7th grade class who might have had Tourette's or something, and he used to... I like to take him by the head, Mr. Prime Minister, and I like to do that to him. to shake the stupidity out of Israeli leaders for the last 63 years. We just turned 63 as a country, and we haven't had one good leader since then. Until this nation tells the world this is our country, God gave it to us, we're not going anywhere, we're always going to have problems. So I hope you enjoyed the show. Every day I'm going to try and do this. Some days from the world headquarters, some days elsewhere. I hope that you guys watch the show, and instead of just saying, that was funny, or that was pathetic, post it on your Facebook page and tell your friends to post it, so that I can start getting those 300,000 people every day that I see these other morons that have no business ever opening their mouths get on Facebook. If you have any comments you want to make for the show, you can post them on Jews News. I'll be happy to read them over the air. You can email me on Facebook, Eliyokim Cohen. And we're going to try and make this fun. This is going to be the Jewish news page, because it's not news unless it's Jews News.